This is a second stimulus check update. Today was supposed to be the day that a stimulus deal would be reached, and unfortunately that is not the case. After another 3-hour meeting last night with the four negotiators, Mark Meadows, Steve Mnuchin for the Republicans, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer for the Democrats, no deal has been reached, and there's not going to be a deal reached today as well. Here are some quotes from last night's negotiation meeting. So Nancy Pelosi says, "We are very far apart. It's most unfortunate." Chuck Schumer says, "We are very disappointed in the meeting. They are unwilling to meet in the middle." Steve Mnuchin says, "I think there's a lot of issues we are close to a compromise position on, and I think there's a handful of very big issues that we are still very far apart." Mark Meadows says, "My frustration is that we could have passed a very skinny deal that dealt with some of the most pressing issues." So they're pretty much admitting defeat, that no deal was made in any of these meetings and that there was very little progress to be made. Even Nancy Pelosi said that Mark Meadows slammed his hand on the table and stormed out of the meeting, or stormed out of the room at one point. Mark Meadows says, "I don't know what she's talking about. I didn't walk out of any meeting all day." To me, it's very shameful how these four negotiators handled the meeting, and it's also very embarrassing how they talk about each other after the meeting. The bickering, the blame game, it's very childish. And both sides are at fault here for not reaching a deal in time. The Democrats released their HEROES Act months ago, therefore it gave the Republicans a lot of time to put forth their HEALS Act, or at least come to the negotiation table and come to an agreement weeks before the eviction moratorium expired or the unemployment assistance expired. And it's the Democrats' fault for not meeting in the middle, or at least come out with a skinny deal where it just has some of the most important topics that could help American people. Instead, they want the whole thing and they're not budging at all. So what happens next? President Trump a few days ago threatened that if a deal isn't reached by Friday, today, that he would issue executive orders. And just yesterday at 11:56 a.m. on Thursday, August 6th, he said, "Upon departing the Oval Office for Ohio, I've notified my staff to continue working on an executive order with respect to payroll tax cut, eviction protections, unemployment extensions, and student loan repayment options." So the key thing here is that the staff is continued to working on the executive order. So at this point, there is no executive order. So when it comes to these four issues, what power does President Trump have to issue an executive order? Let's go over that now. So the payroll tax cut, this is a touchy subject. Many Democrats are against it. Many of his Republican colleagues openly spoke out against the payroll tax cut. If you're not familiar, payroll tax cut will give a person a higher paycheck because money isn't going to Medicare or Social Security, and the employee gets a higher amount of the paycheck. Although a payroll tax cut will give many working Americans a higher paycheck, the argument against it is that there's over 20 million Americans unemployed, or even up to 30 million depending on how you count it, and those people who are hurting most won't receive any benefit from a payroll tax cut. Now, when it comes to unemployment extensions, which is referring to that $600 a week or $400 a week, depending on whatever number President Trump wants, the President of the United States has no power over money. That's only Congress. So unemployment extensions, he may not be able to do, but 3 out of the 4 he probably can do. He probably can do the payroll tax cut, eviction protection, student loan repayment options. One of the most recent executive orders that President Trump did, especially relevant to the stimulus package, was the student loan repayment option. So he paused the student loans and he issued a 60-day executive order to pause student loan payments and set interest rates to 0% for federal student loans and halt federal student loan debt collection. So he did do that in the past. He probably can do that now. And one of the things I find really fascinating is this is probably one of the only times in history where President Trump and the Democrats both want the same thing. They want to help out the American people. It's the Republican senators that are being a little more stingy, a little more reserved when it comes to giving money to help out the American people. If President Trump did have the power to control the money, he would have easily extended that unemployment assistance to $600 a week. He would have given everybody probably $2,000 stimulus checks already, but unfortunately he doesn't have that power. So let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about President Trump using his powers for these 4 executive orders? Should he do more things? Should he do less? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. One of the reasons why today, August 7th, was one of the most important deadlines is because the Senate and the House are on a 1-month vacation. So they were just on a 3-week vacation in July, and now they're going on a 1-month vacation. Perfect timing, right? Although many senators said that they would stay and work on a deal until something is passed for the American people, many senators left yesterday, Thursday, so they left early for the 1-month vacation. And technically, according to Mitch McConnell, they're not on vacation. They're on a 24-hour standby, but yet they get to go home to their home state and do whatever they do. And then they just have to get back to DC on a 24-hour notice to pass a deal or to vote on the next stimulus package, whenever that happens. As Americans, we all share the same disappointment that no deal was reached for today. I think a lot of us knew it in the beginning of the week that there was no progress made, but some of us still had hope. I had hope that something would happen. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll keep you updated on what's going to happen next with the stimulus package and what President Trump is going to do with his executive orders. And if you want to learn the best strategies of how to raise your credit score, you could click this video over here. It goes over the 5 different strategies of how to raise your credit score above 750, and I even show my own personal credit score in that video. It's on my second channel, Wise Sense, which teaches wise money tips to build a wealthy future. Or if you want more second stimulus check updates, you could click this playlist down over here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.